Well, you've always been so kind to hop on our show. And before we get into the NFL and what you're doing this weekend, what was your immediate thought when you heard that James Harden was indeed moving to Brooklyn, and now you had a completely different arrangement of players to call?
Yeah, I noticed my phone was blowing up at 4:30 as I was driving into Brooklyn for a game, and figured something must be happening. You know, I was in a different world. I'm listening to cool jazz at that point. I'm trying to get into the mindset of calling an NBA game, and the phone it went nuts. And it was a moment that, as a 27-year broadcaster with the Nets, you will not forget, because they haven't been relevant all that often. Guys, 4 years ago, Randy Foye hit a buzzer beater, and that beat the Charlotte Hornets with a 3, and the Nets celebrated as if it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. They went on to lose 27 of their next 28 games.
Oh, my God.
This is not 15 years ago. This isn't 20. This is 4 years ago. 3 years ago, non-factor. Nobody was talking about this team. They were headed nowhere. They were trying to create some open slots for large salaries if they could convince a player or an agent to even consider them. And here we are today. I'm getting phone calls left and right whether or not this team can win a championship. So it's been a little bit bizarre and surreal to see the transformation in such a short period of time.
So has this gone from a team that, hey, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, healthy, ready to go this year, they should do some damage to, no, this is championship or bust now. Have they made that flip?
Yeah, they have. And normally, I think most people involved on the team level would try to steer it the other way and say, no, you know, this is a step, it's another chapter in the development. No, they're embracing it. They recognize that this is a small window. They have 3 of the best players on the planet. They put all their chips to the middle of the table, and yeah, they've taken on that mentality of it's time to win a championship. That's the way that they're viewing it. This is not a finished roster by any stretch. There's still some moves to be made, whether it's in the short term. They have to make a couple of roster moves before the end of the month. Just by league rules, they're not carrying enough players, but they have another 9 days to make those decisions. And then April is the deadline for when teams can make real moves on buyouts and what have you. So you could see another set of personalities on this team that might shore up the roster before the smoke clears.
Ian, say what you want about James Harden. The dude produces, and he has produced so far in his short stint with the Nets. I guess most people's concerns regarding that team is the availability of one Kyrie Irving. Is Kyrie misunderstood?
Yeah, I think he's misunderstood to some degree, but he has brought a lot of this on himself. Whatever he needed to do is acceptable. We recognize in this day and age more than ever mental health is really important. And if Kyrie needed a timeout, if he needed a break, I don't think the Nets had a problem with it. The issue seemed to be the lack of communication, not letting the head coach know, not letting the GM know, and leaving them in the lark on the day of a game where questions needed to be answered. Eventually, they got on the same page, but then there was a birthday party with no masks. And considering the current climate in the world, let alone in the NBA, that's not a good move. So it was his father, his sister, it was a dual birthday party, and then the NBA got involved, and he missed a couple of games because of the protocols. So you tie that all together, it's 7 games that he was not a part of the team. He rejoins them. By the way, during that period, James Harden was acquired, so the team is different now. Look, my personal dealings with Kyrie have been terrific. He grew up a Net fan. He was a huge fan of the broadcast and a huge fan of the Jason Kidd teams as a kid. So we have that connectivity based on that shared experience. I think he's definitely going through some stuff. I can't even begin to speculate whatever that might be. You just hope that he gets back to a place where he's enjoying this again, and he sees that there's really something at the end of the rainbow here from a basketball and professional standpoint that he could look back on and feel really proud about if this thing clicks the way that they think it will.
I know, by the way, you've got a pretty big football game coming up this weekend, and I can just imagine all of Bills Mafia around the world tuning in. And this is. They've been wanting this. They've been begging for this for so long, and here they are with Josh Allen at the helm. I look at this, Ian, as saying, this is, I think, going to be a pretty darn good football game. What's on your mind as you get ready to head to this one?
Yeah, I'm with you. This is no longer a nice story that the Buffalo Bills have written. They are legit. Their offense is big time. Josh Allen's improvement, I don't want to just throw out hyperboles and then we leave and move on to the next conversation. I really believe this. I think it might be the greatest single-season improvement at the quarterback position we've ever seen. We've seen players that had never played before that get a chance, and then you say, wow, I didn't see that coming. No, this guy, we had tape. We saw 2 full seasons of Josh Allen and the accuracy issues and the decision-making and the flashes. Yes, greatness was there. You could see the physical gifts, but he never seemed to be able to harness it in that 2-year period, and maybe that's on me or on us for jumping to conclusions. But the accuracy is the one area that you rarely see market improvement. And what he's done from year 2 to year 3 to have an MVP caliber season, to lead this team. Stephon Diggs has been incredible. He's absolutely lifted their offense. Brian Dable has done an excellent job with his schemes and his game plans. They're legit. Buffalo could easily win this game. They could easily win the Super Bowl. And I think any one of these 4 teams can win the Super Bowl. We could see any combination, and I think it would be a good matchup, whoever emerges in the NFC and the AFC. And I really believe that you could make a case for any one of these 4 teams winning the championship when it's all said and done. That's what you look for in a championship weekend in the NFL, and that's what we've got.
I'm not talking about the odds makers here, just the way that it feels. Buffalo beats KC this weekend. Is that an upset?
I don't see it as such. Now, I think the Bills have embraced the mindset of being an underdog. I think they like that, even though this team has been as hot as anybody at this stage. It's 8 straight wins, including the playoffs, 11 of 12. The only loss was the Hail Murray game. So while the Bills might sell that to their players, and Sean McDermott, in my mind, will probably do just that, I don't see it that way. I'm thinking more along the lines of you. I think Buffalo and Kansas City are playing on even footing. Yes, there are going to be 17,000 fans there in KC. It's not going to be 76,000 fans, so the home field advantage part of it is not at the realm that we normally think. I think Buffalo has more than just a puncher's chance. I think this is even footing in this game.
Ian Eagle with us. Going on the flip side here, and we'll get back to the Chiefs-Bills in just a second, which Ian is on the call for. But in the NFC side, I can't figure this out for the life of me. Why is the Packers, who got waxed by Tampa Bay earlier this year, a 3-point favorite?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised at the number. I was surprised at the confidence that Vegas had in Green Bay. Tampa Bay's, their performance defensively last week made me a legitimate believer. I was on the fence. I saw them twice during the season, and the games that I happened to see them in live, the games I worked, they were good. They were fine, but I didn't say to myself, oh my goodness, this is a Super Bowl champion. I just didn't see the full complement. What I watched last week was a really confident defense, and I think that's what's leading the way now, where it's not all on Tom Brady. It's not all on that offense. I just like the complete group with Tampa Bay compared to Green Bay. And Aaron Rodgers has been a marvel, and his chemistry with Devontae Adams is through the roof. But if you're asking me, which has been the more complete football team that I've seen, it's been the Buccaneers.
Last one from me. Ian, you do the games for the Nets, obviously, and some of them you do from the studio, correct? Or do you do them from home like the national guys do? How do you do the Nets games?
Yeah, I've not done them from home. We've done the home games there. So we've been in Brooklyn for the home games. The road games, we just do them from the same exact spot, literally the same broadcast location, except there's no game in front of us.
Yeah, we do it the same way. So the NFL games, though, you're at the location, you're at the actual event. So when you're doing a game like this, do you look at the weather forecast? I mean, you have to open up the window. If I were doing a game in the cold, dude, I wouldn't last a quarter because I'm a wuss. I can't speak. Does that ever affect you?
I've had a couple of times that I can remember where it has affected me. And, the one thing that you think about, and I only realized this after the fact when I watched back one of my games many years ago, if it's cold, there is the potential of mucus leakage in the open. And what ends up happening, it doesn't matter. You could have had the best open that you've ever had. You could have solved everything that this game had to offer. If there's one piece of snot hanging,
it's over.
You know that anyone watching the game is like, honey, come here right now. Is that snot? Because I believe it is. Is it?
Yeah. Look at Eagle's face. Look at that booger. Oh my God.
That is a clear booger.
What an unprofessional.
On the television side, those are the things that you have to consider in the cold weather. As far as like lockjaw or anything, yes, I've had a couple of games. I had one in Cleveland one year. I had one in New England one year where I really remember thinking like late third quarter, I don't know if I'm going to be able to spit out the next call. Like there's a chance that my mouth will not move, but it did work.
I'll tell you what, I am doing the hockey side of things. I'm going to use that from now on. The mucus leakage. Sorry, guys, I have a little bit of mucus leakage. I apologize.
Let's take a break.
Let's take a quick break.
We're in the middle of the power play mode. We're
it
taking a
doesn't
break.
matter. Doesn't matter. It's power play time. Who cares?
Mucus leakage, ML.
Ian, you're the best, my friend. We'll be watching and looking for that mucus somewhere in the third quarter this weekend.
Right on, baby.
All right, guys. See you.
Take care, Ryan.
Ian Eagle. He's on the call for Kansas City and Buffalo this weekend. That is something like